Alright guys, so after a 15 hours long flight from Dubai, I'm here in Los Angeles and I will be piloting the Spyder F3 from Can Am. The last time I rode a Spyder from Can Am, that is, it's not a car, was in 2010 in Australia. And this one looks a little bit different, and let's see how it handles. But one thing for sure, this is an absolutely outlandish looking vehicle. So let's go.
I started from Hollywood in Los Angeles and I made my way to Las Vegas through the Mojave Desert. And in Las Vegas, I paid visit to very interesting places called Exotic Racing and Avengers Station. And after that, the next day, I went to a place called Rhyolite, which has a very interesting outdoor museum. And then onwards to Death Valley. Now, Death Valley is one of my favorite places on planet Earth. It is just out of the world. I mean, almost literally the way it looks. And then from Death Valley, I went all the way back to Los Angeles to complete this loop.
So guys, I started today from Hollywood and I'm going to Las Vegas. But I decided to take a little bit of a detour from the main highway into what is called the Route 66 or the National Trails Highway here. So if you've seen a lot of American movies, Route 66 is actually a very important route which now lies defunct because of the development of the main highways, faster highways. So this is one of the places, petrol pumps, I believe, that are now actually lying defunct because of the development which has taken place and which has left this highway vehicleless. Hence the businesses here are unsustainable, and that's why you see the result of the development. And here is the Can Am Spyder, which is looking remarkable against this post-apocalyptic kind of a location here. And I'm wondering what kind of vehicles they used to come here, what kind of facilities they had here. It's a little overwhelming, but nevertheless, this is the fact, the reality of it all. Onwards we go. So I'm in the middle of railway tracks on Route 66, and obviously these are not functional. These are actually supposed to be a museum. But isn't this so cool? We're actually ridden in the middle of two railways, trains, for the first time in my life. But these are standing still is altogether a different matter. I mean, I haven't done this sort of thing ever. And Route 66 is actually pretty amazing if you want to try. Look at such quirky things. Imagine doing this on live tracks. Mind blowing. Oh, it's hot as well.
Another thing which makes this trip special for me are the deserts. The Mojave Desert is the driest desert in North America. And deserts, they actually lend a very surreal kind of a feel to your road trip. Especially for me, because even a small tree jutting out of middle of nowhere, it actually feels so special, especially when I'm taking pictures. And Mojave is also characterized by its Joshua trees. So within Mojave Desert, you can also go to Kelso Dunes, which is just a few miles from the main road. And here there are around 120 kilometers of sand dunes. Let me now talk a little bit about the machine itself. The Can Am Spyder has an Austrian Rotax inline 3 engine producing 115 horsepower with decent amount of torque. It's also got a 6-speed semi-automatic transmission with a reverse gear. And of course, we're gonna need it. It is not that heavy with 430 kgs dry and does 0 to 100 in less than 5 seconds. Trust me, it's decently fast. Braking, thankfully, is something which is stellar thanks to the 3 wheels themselves. And it is incredibly difficult to get it disbalanced. I mean, you really have to try incredibly hard, even in wet conditions, to do that. Plus, it's got all the bells and whistles: ABS, ride-by-wire, stability control system, traction control, and dynamic power steering, which actually assists you in lower speeds that you don't have to wrestle with the handlebars. But then it gives way at higher speeds so that you have a more natural feel altogether. And finally, I was in Las Vegas, which is also known as the Sin City. Now, this city is perhaps one of the most famous cities in the whole world. It's iconic in many ways, thanks to Hollywood, thanks to the imagery that it has, like the party capital of the world, the entertainment capital of the world, and some facts that have become legendary, like it having the brightest spot on planet Earth as seen from space, thanks to 15,000 miles of neon lighting. I mean, that is incredible. The whole feeling is quite surreal riding through it, and there is so much money here. It's like half of the top 20 the world's largest hotels are actually located in Las Vegas. You really have to visit this place at least once in your lifetime. And next morning, it was time to go to my kind of place, the Avengers Station.
Welcome to the Avengers Station.
Living up to its name of the entertainment capital of the world, it was now time to go to a supercar racing facility here in Las Vegas.
Alright, so right now I'm at the Exotics Racing Facility in Las Vegas. They have their own private track with around 30 supercars to choose from. So they'll be giving me a couple of supercars to drive on the racing track.
Go for it. It's gonna push you off. Keep going. Stay to the right. Off the throttle. Start to the inside. Back on throttle. Now go. Straight to the right. Bingo.
You can see what I did at the Exotic Racing facility in another episode, and if it has been published, you'll find the link below in the description. Now it's time to go to my favorite place on planet Earth. Well, one of the favorite places called Death Valley. But before that, we have to visit a very interesting place called Rhyolite.
So I'm in a place called Rhyolite. It's a very funky sounding name. And here it's an open air museum. Behind me there are a couple of puppets, as you can see.
This is the Goldwell Open Air Museum, and it's described as a selection of sculptures and other works created by a group of Belgian artists. Now, this museum is not too far from another interesting place called the ghost town of Rhyolite. It was a booming town in the olden days, but it's deserted now, and it really makes you wonder about the uncertain future of all things. But this is one place which was surreal, and because you can actually take your motorcycle right down to the sculptures, it is imperative that you go over there, especially if you are a photographer. And on that day, I decided to stay over in the town of Biarri, which is also known as the gateway to the Death Valley. It is a perfect place if you want to just stay overnight and get up early morning to explore the beautiful Death Valley. I also came across a Tesla charging station. Little did I know that after coming from this ride, going back to Dubai, I will be actually piloting not one, but 2 Teslas. And finally, now coming to my favorite part, the Death Valley, which is a desert valley located in eastern California and is one of the world's hottest places. Furnace Creek in Death Valley has reported to have clocked 56.7 degrees Celsius, the highest ambient air temperature ever recorded on the surface of the earth. In addition to that, at 86 meters below sea level, Death Valley's Badwater Basin is the point of lowest elevation in all of North America.
This is one of the lowest points on earth. Quite surreal.
It actually does not sound like a perfect pace for a motorcyclist, but it does make for some stunning pictures and some amazing scenery. You can almost meditate while riding through it. The alien-like landscapes, they are very rare anywhere else on the earth and very unique to this region. And perhaps that's the reason why it has been a movie maker's delight for so many years. Movies like Chronicles of Riddick, Star Wars, and Planet of Apes, they have been shot here, and even a movie called Death Valley in 1982.
Things are very quiet in Death Valley these days. In fact, you can go for miles without spotting a corpse. However, if you're patient, something or somebody is bound to turn up.
Motorcycling is essentially a solo activity, and one cannot be more thankful than to have these kind of roads, places to discover. And I want to go again and again to Death Valley and to this part of the world for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I just love the sights, the sound, and the serenity offered by the desert, especially in the Death Valley. Until next time, take care and ride safe.